Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm VanillaBean and I'm bringing you an anime review. This time I'm talking about Erased. Everyone's talking about it. It's one of the most talked about anime this past winter season. Talk about hype. But before we immediately kick things off, in case you're wondering what game that is playing in the background, it is Transistor. I freaking love this game. Short and sweet action RPG that is oh so euphoric. Just listen to it. Right? I love it. But anyway, so Erased, or Boku dake ga Inai Machi, if you prefer the Japanese title. I don't. Erased isn't as hard on the tongue. It is a supernatural thriller of 12 episodes, originally made as a manga and adapted into anime by A1 Pictures. If you're big into anime, then you've likely heard of them. A1 Pictures is one of the big shot studios that produce flashy animation and beautiful artistry. I can give you a list of what they've worked on, but we'd be here all day. So, instead, I'll plaster the screen with pictures. This is just a sample. Some are good, some are bad. You've seen any of these anime? Then you know how formidable they are in the animation department. And I can happily say Erased doesn't let anyone down on that regard. But before we jump ahead to that, let's talk about what the hell this anime is about. The story follows a sort of detached, 29-year-old, struggling manga author named Satoru Fujinuma, who delivers pizza as a side job as well as saves lives with his time-traveling superpower. Almost sounds like a certain movie I know. But no, there's more to it than that. He can't control his power, and it only triggers when a tragedy, or a death, has happened near him. He gets thrown back in time enough to find and prevent that tragedy. It's not like he has a choice either. If he doesn't prevent that tragedy, then he'll just keep getting sent back in time. The vicious cycle. But one day, a murder most foul happened, and he is wrongfully accused for it. This event triggers his power, which he calls Revival, for some reason, and he gets sent 18 years into the past, from the year 2006 to the year 1988. Why so far back, you may ask? Well, apparently, and Satoru realizes this, that murder is also connected to a string of other murders in the past. One of these past victims was one of his classmates, a solitary girl named Kayo Hinazuki. Satoru always regretted not reaching out to her in the past, but now he can set things right. From this point to the rest of the anime, he must somehow prevent these murders, to also prevent the one in 2006, as well as find and catch the murderer. Sounds really thrilling, right? It is. This is one of those shows that a lot of people will likely end up binge watching because for almost every episode, the suspense will eat at your very soul and will make you crave to know what happens next. These are the primary elements of this anime: suspense and thriller, not necessarily the mystery. I think a lot of people came into this show, myself included, believing we'd get an elaborate murder mystery, but that's not really the case. Although Satoru makes some efforts in a little bit of detective work to find out who the culprit is, he largely focuses on reaching out to and protecting Kayo. This show is billed as a mystery, and almost incorrectly in my opinion. It is no Sherlock. There's no emphasis on evidence gathering, on suspect gathering, on deduction using rational or scientific thinking. If you've heard that some people were disappointed with the anime, that's where some of the disappointment from viewers comes from. That disappointment only gets worse too, as certain revelations, air quotes, are lacking in the revelation department. And that disappointment is absolutely valid. Mystery isn't really the show's strength. But cut the guy some slack. Satoru isn't even a detective. He's a manga author. He does his best on what he can do and makes judgment calls, all while having the restrictions that come with being in his child body. So how does Satoru fight against this destiny if his mystery solving is weak sauce? He fights his way. He makes it his top priority to protect Kaio, so he does that by extending out his friendship and getting some help along the way. This is where the show's strengths are. Friendship! Well, actually, it's the theme of communal trust, and the feeling of helping others in need and giving a shoulder to cry on. The anime also does a good job in striking chords of emotion. When those emotional moments happen, they are usually complemented with beautiful animation and cinematography. They just really hit you in the feels. Now, some people would argue that the show is just shock factor and cheap thrills. Why? It may have to do with, well, warning. There is child abuse. Some people feel that the anime is just finding easy ways to extract sympathy and the feels from viewers. Cue In the Arms of an Angel. Those are the only words I know from the lyrics. Anyway. But you know, I call those people heartless monsters. Or really jaded individuals. You'll get varying reactions from person to person. I myself shed tears. Now, what are some other positives? Again, the cinematography and animation, though. I know, it sounds like I'm gushing about that bit a little too much. But it really is awe-inspiring at times. And I love that when Satoru is in the year 1988, the show gains black bars at the top and bottom, which it didn't have when he was in the year 2006. It's got that nice little cinematic touch. Oh, then there's the voice acting. Pretty impressive performances, especially both versions of Satoru. Shinosuke Mitsushima and Tao Tsuchiya. Their voices are very soothing and relaxing, come to think of it. Like ASMR worthy. The tingles. Even more impressive is that they don't have any previous work in anime. Then there's Kaio's actress, Aoi Yuki. Aoi? But anyway, she's great as well. But that's to be expected. She actually has quite the voice acting resume. For a couple of samples, she was Victorica from Gossick, and Madoka from Madoka Magica. She did a great job in those roles. She did a great job in this role as well. The soundtrack is fine. Nothing that really stands out, but the opening and ending is pretty great. Very few anime get me to stick around to watch and listen to the openings, but it turns out it's really easy when you have Asian Kung Fu Generation playing. Love that band. The ending song is especially great. Sounds very fitting with the anime's mood and tone. Emotional and suspenseful. Now, how about the characters? They're decent. The best ones I'd say are the leads and a certain mom. Seriously, she might get an Anime Mom of the Year award. But not many else stand out, and there aren't any leaps and bounds in character development, as this show isn't character-driven. There are definitely a couple of problematic characters that have added to some people's disappointment, even having me scratching my head. One for major spoiler reasons I can't get into detail about, and I wish I could, 'cause there's plenty wrong with that one. And the other character, Kenya Kobayashi. Another of Satoru's classmates and one of his closest childhood friends. This kid acts too old for his age. I know that's a common problem in anime, characters acting older than they are, but this one is just a little too immersion breaking. The kid's got adult-like intelligence and mannerisms. It's almost laughable. I would have let it go if the kids were in high school, but they're in grade school. And this anime is serious business, so it's important for characters to be convincing. And also his character is underutilized, so him being very intelligent and mature seems weird and pointless to me. I'd never thought instead of saying, "Grow up, kid," I would say, "Grow down, kid." Jeez. We're talking more weaknesses now. So, about some other of the anime's weaknesses. Well, I've already mentioned the lack of depth into the mystery portion. I should mention that Satoru's power will remain unexplained and at times will seem arbitrary. His power is merely an iffy and contrived plot device. Nothing more, nothing less. That sucks because there was plenty of potential to that power of his. In fact, I would watch an anime about a guy using that kind of power to save lives or solve crimes. That might have been interesting. What else? The pacing becomes weird after the first 6 episodes and becomes a whole lot worse by the final 2 or 3 episodes. It is a little rushed. That's kind of the typical predicament when a studio is given only 12 episodes to work on for a manga that only recently ended and ran for about 4 years. I haven't read the manga myself, but I am pretty sure plenty of details and story have been left out in the anime. That sucks. Again, some people will not deal well with the shock factor, as some might feel it to be cheap. I certainly don't, but no. And another thing you might have a pet peeve on, or it really might grind your gears, Satoru occasionally has these weird pedo-like scenes. I really don't want to describe it that way. The thing is, he goes back in time, right? He still has his mind. Sure, he reverts to his child body. His mind is still that of from 2006. His body might be 10, but his mind is still 29. And there are some moments that get a little weird when he tries to get along with Kaio. But I guess you could argue that being in his 10-year-old body might be affecting his mind. I don't know. A poor defense, I know. But I assure you, nothing seriously bad comes from the relationship between Satoru and Kaio. Remember, he is simply just reaching out and trying to protect her. And last but not least, an iffy conclusion with some plot conveniences. All of these issues leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth. Issues that might have been avoided if the anime had more episodes to work with, to fill in more details and flesh out some of the characters. Although it's possible that the manga has this problem too. Can't say, since I haven't read it. It's a shame, since the anime's first half has such a strong start. But you know what? Despite the disappointment in the story's direction towards the end and some of its revelations, I still enjoy this anime very much. I feel that there is just so much more to like than there is to hate. The anime to me is riveting. It manages to maintain good levels of tension and anticipation from beginning to end, and at times it's very beautiful and heartwarming. At the same time, I recognize its flaws and accept that not everyone will like it. Are you jaded? Are you a critical viewer? Are you looking for a good mystery? Or are you not so easily swept along the tides of emotion and suspense? Then this anime is a pass for you. But if not, then you'll find a lot of enjoyment out of this anime and will be swept along, like I was. Some people yell, "Anime of the year!" But it's not. Is it overhyped? Yeah. Is it even the best of this year's winter season anime? Not even. But it's far from the worst. In fact, it's still one of the best this past season. I recommend that you should keep your expectations at a reasonable height and don't listen to the hype. And just let the show entertain you. Erased is a good show. Could have been a lot better, but still good. Not gourmet cheesecake, but still good cheesecake. You can watch Erased on Crunchyroll's site, in standard definition for free or in HD for subscribers. Well, that is all, guys. I think this is the 5th review I've done overall. 2nd review after coming back from, let's say, a hiatus. This time I'll try to establish a groove and keep going at it. And hopefully this groove won't be erased. Okay, that was bad. I'll see myself out. Later!